Hello and welcome back to my Satisfactory guide. Let us talk today about a really important milestone in your early Satisfactory progression, cold power. This is a somewhat straightforward topic, so simple, elegant perfection is within everyone's grasp when it comes to cold power. So then, why am I even making a video about this, you might ask? Well, one reason is that it's the first time you will be introduced to fluid mechanics, and if you are new to the game, you might not realize how it works exactly. And I'm sure each and every one of us has asked the question, why the hell is there no water coming to my generator? Second reason is, although it's one really small step for a measly pioneer, it's a giant leap for your factory automation. Because after this, you'll be able to get rid of those annoying biofuel generators and stop collecting leaves to power up your factory. So it's important you get this right. So to even start your cold power plant, you need to find some cold deposits next to a water source. So just find your perfect spot, wherever that may be, and drag a line of power poles towards it. Next, you need to look up the ratios. Cold generators use 45 cubic meters of water per minute, and the water extractor generates 120 cubic meters per minute. That works out to 8 cold generators to 3 extractors, so a ratio of 8 to 3. But 3 extractors will exceed the Mark 1 pipe flow limit, which is 300 cubic meters per minute. So if you want to keep it simple, you can start with just 2 extractors to 5 generators, so a ratio of 5 to 2. This way, you only slightly overproduce water, but your build will be much simpler. So you can start laying down your foundation. Put your desired number of generators in a line and place a line of splitters in front of the belt inputs. And then just run a belt to connect them together, making sure that you leave some space towards the generator to make room for the water inputs. Connect the cold line to one end and connect each splitter to the generators, and you have one resource sorted. For the water input, it starts to get a little bit tricky. If you're not familiar with fluid mechanics in Satisfactory, the water will flow from high ground to low ground, from high pressure to low pressure, and from full pipe to empty pipe. This can be a problem since water is generally lower than the ground that you will place your generators on. To get the water from low ground to high ground, you will have to make use of a pump. Pumps generate head lift and pressure. This way, they can push the water at a certain height. The amount of meters the pump can push the water is specified in the description and is visually represented by these circles when you hover the hologram over the pipe. Also, the extractor has a standard 10-meter head lift, so you don't have to attach a pump after each extractor to lift it up slightly onto this step. Instead, you can join the 3 extractors, put a single pump at the bottom, and lift the pipe as much as needed to be above the inputs of the generators. This is so that the water will flow naturally to the generators without using pumps, since the initial pump is way too far for its head lift to work here. As a general rule, always load from above, never from below. Loading from below is technically possible, but it creates a million issues and might not be as stable as you'd want it to be. After you bring the water to the generators, you just run the pipe along them and add junctions to each generator, and the setup is done. But be careful, this setup only works if you have Mark 2 pipes, since 3 extractors will generate more water than can flow through a Mark 1 pipe. That's why I recommend removing 3 generators and an extractor and using the 5 to 2 ratio setup that we talked about earlier. If you really wanted to have the 8 to 3 perfect ratio, you need to run a second parallel pipe and connect it between the 3rd extractor and the other end of the generator line. I recommend bringing in separate pipes for each 8 or 5 generator stack, and don't try to combine inputs unless you know exactly what you're doing. It can cause instability in the system. One other important thing to note about pumps is that they don't actually pull water from the pipe. Water has to properly reach the pump and then it will push it forward. So make sure that you have sufficient water flow on the pipe where you place the pump. As a bonus tip, if you're wondering how I aligned this extractor so perfectly, it's because I placed underwater foundations. I snapped the hologram to the edge of my dock, for lack of a better word, and pressed the page down to lower it so that it's underwater. Then I lower it with an additional step so it's deep enough. So this is my early game cold power setup. Please let me know if you found it informative and if you also thought of anything better. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to come back for more Satisfactory tips.